You posing for pictures, or you gonna pull the trigger?
See how easy it is? How really easy it is? When I take you down, I'm gonna take you down right. I'm gonna take you down all the way.
Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews. That was just a taste of what's to come. We're going to be talking about 1986's Crime Story. However long it takes for me to get through this. This is something that I've been thinking about for a really long time. Before I, even had YouTube on my mind or whatever. I've been quietly and obsessed with this show since it came out, and even worse when it got canceled. And over the years it's crossed my mind and I've never been able to find it anywhere. All of a sudden it shows up on Amazon Prime, and it came out right when my life was about to explode, when I was 11 years old. We watched this all the time, and it's just weird watching shows that like this from a time period that you remember as the touchstone in that is that this is right before my parents got divorced. Was when this show was out, and there were things that that were just strained in the family at that point, and it's weird how you remember, or at least how I remember, shows and things that I was watching right around that time, or things like this that remind me of, oh my God, around this time is when everything was starting to fall apart, and how again, a lot of times I would go to shows, movies, I would draw, I'd write stories, anything to escape the reality that I was living back then. And this show for 1986 was pretty heavy duty, because this was a Michael Mann produced show, and he had done, he was doing Miami Vice. And so before we get into any more about this, let's just play the trailer, and then we'll talk about everything else. Okay, so be back in a minute.
Makes me stay. Run away, run away.
Alright, so that should give you a little bit of understanding, a little bit more understanding of everything. I think that's maybe you're like, what the hell am I watching or what? But this is a passion project for me. This is one of those things that I never thought I'd ever really talk about, because it just, I gave up on ever finding this show. Because back then I didn't know, who Dennis Farina was. I just knew he was the intense guy from this show. And I became every time I'd see Dennis Farina in anything, I just loved him. This guy is so great, and it sucks so hard that we lost him. What was it, 2013? We lost him, I think. He'd been doing unsolved mysteries and stuff or whatever. I really dig this guy, but I forgot about Crime Story enough to know that when Get Shorty came out, that was like basically the Dennis Farina that I started to know. And to give you a taste of that, I'll show you what I mean.
So I'm finally in the presence of greatness, huh?
Shut up and sit down, you big bald fuck. Do you know that you're the dumbest fuck I ever met in my whole life?
Who the fuck are you?
I'm Ray Barboni from Miami. I'm looking for Frankie fucking Forfan. The guy's a fucking accountant. Fuck you. Bad food, worse weather, Mary fucking Poppins, London. What the fuck is going on? Fuck you, too. Well, I hope you drive better than you fucking spell.
Don't say a fucking word to me. I'll get up and I'll bury this telephone in your head.
I thought this country spawned the fucking language, and so far nobody seems to speak it. No. Fuck you, fuckball.
I'm gonna stab you through the heart with a fucking pencil.
And he's got no fucking respect for none of us.
Fuck. That sounds promising. What are we waiting for? Tonight is the fucking night. You understand? E-G-I-E, fuck you.
They say the fucking smog is the fucking reason you have such beautiful fucking sunsets.
The fucking airport.
All right, yeah, so that's pretty much how I remembered him from the 90s. It took me a while to remember this show, even though, like, anytime I'd think of it, I'd become obsessed with, like, man, where is it? But Dennis Farina, over the years, has just become one of the best character actors. He's one of the greatest Chicago actors. He's just got that presence. He's always funny. He's very down to earth, and he can swear with the best of them. I mean, I wish, like when I was little, I had one of those stupid toys that you could press and be like, fuck you, fucking jerk, I wish I had one of those, but just with him saying it. Just like, like, fuck you, fuckball, that kind of thing. But, so, it's just, like I said, this is going to be a love letter to this show. And to Dennis Farina and to everybody that was on this show, because again, this show has, get ready, man. There's a lot of people that are going to be on this show as we talk about it. And in the first episode alone, okay, it was basically the movie. It was an hour and 36 minutes, which, was like a 2-hour movie then. That's how short the commercials were back then. You could actually get almost 2 hours of actual, show in your show. And then it went on for 2 more seasons. So this was a big freaking story. And it was directed by Abel Ferrara. Now, Abel Ferrara, now that I've seen this episode again after all these years, and again, like, it's been, like, since, like, probably 88 that I saw this. So, like, 31 years, something like that. And so it's kind of like watching it all over again. But knowing the style of Abel Ferrara, who did movies like Bad Lieutenant and one of my personal favorites, The King of New York, with Christopher Walken, the gritty street level style of filming is here. Definitely, this whole thing screams Abel Ferrara, which is really cool. They got him to do the film version of the pilot of this show, because again, it also was produced by Michael Mann, who's put out some of the best crime stuff. Like Collateral and Heat, minus the girl parts in that. That wasn't meant to sound how it sounded. I just didn't like the way the women were written in that movie. But then you get this cast, okay? Screw everything else. Another thing is this has like directors attached to this thing, like, that are also really good, and some of these people that are attached to this, have become huge. But in this episode alone, and some of them I'm going to point out more to, and I'm going to do a little thing about them, because like I said, I'm going all out for this. So this video is as long as it is, as it has to be, and I'm not really that concerned about really getting views. This is just more like like I said, a kind of a time capsule thing for me. But just in this episode alone, okay, we get tons and tons of actors in here. So of course we got Dennis Farina as Lieutenant Mike Torello. Tony Dennison is Ray Luca. He was the guy that got shot, his face shot at the beginning. He's like the main bad guy. And this show has, and even back then, I was like 10, 11 years old, and I understood this at the very most, at least, or at the very least at most, was that Frank's, Dennis Farina's cop, Frank, or Mike, was the hero, hard-ass cop. Like, this is shit that, you know, this show came out before, like, Rodney King and things like that, so people, you know, people accepted the cops, I guess, a little bit more, especially the way it was set in mobster stuff, that you could be more brutal, you know, like the Untouchables kind of. And he really brings it in this role as this like tough as fucking nails cop who, I mean, he gets upset when his woman looks at somebody. He's very hard-boiled. This is old-timey 1963, you know, ways of doing things. And so it's kind of weird and dated to watch people behave this way, but at the same time, this is what's acceptable. And so I'm not going to shame myself for watching it, because I think it's just, Dennis Farina just is so great. And to his yin to this yang, Tony Dennison is Ray Luca. He also brings that intensity. Like, that's why I played that very first thing, where it's like, he's got a gun in his face, he doesn't care. They flip the table over, and you just see the intensity of Farina matched with the cool, calm, and collectedness of Tony Dennison's Ray Luca. They are the glue that holds this show together. Their hatred for each other, the cat and mouse game that they play throughout this show, and the losses that both sides take, and the strain and the bigger rage that it builds inside of Mike Torello's, you know, need and obsession with taking him down. Same matches with Ray's desire to fuck with, you know, Mike's, you know, world as well. But then we get a whole cast of characters in here that are played by a lot of people. Like, we've got Bill Smitrovich as Danny Krychek. I was like, Krychek? For real? Like X-Files? Like, did the X-Files steal that from this? Because Krychek isn't a name you hear very often. But then there's Steve Ryan. Okay, he's in here. Billy Campbell, the fucking Rocketeer. Stephen Lang from Avatar and Don't Breathe. And, you know, that hard-ass cool dude, man. He's badass. We got John Polito, the great John Polito, who, again, I think he died in 2016. John Polito, man. Oh. Eric Bogosian's in this. And some people are like, who the fuck is Eric Bogosian? But Eric Bogosian used to say his name, and he was like that very... Like, if you liked something from Eric Bogosian, you were suddenly, like, in a higher tier of quality. It's weird. Because he's kind of like a guy that's never been out there that much, like, as far as promoting himself and things like that. But he's in this he's very young in this. William Russ from Boy Meets World played the dad on that. He's in this. Martin Ferrero from Get Shorty and Jurassic Park. He's the guy that gets eaten on the toilet. David Caruso's in this episode. He also was in an Abel Ferrara movie called The King of New York. He was in that movie where he plays a cop. In this, he's playing a guy who's pretending to be on the up and up, but he's not. Ted Levine, the great Ted Levine. That, I mean, everybody, you know, is like, you know, Buffalo Bill from the Silence of the Lambs. But he's played every kind of cop across the board. He was in Michael Mann's Heat. He's a great actor. He's been in everything. Andrew Dice Clay is in this. I don't think he's in this episode, though. But there's just, I'm trying to look if there's even any more. Michael Rooker. Rooker's in this, man. He has one fucking scene where he's right at the beginning, where he's kneeled down next to Farina's character, and he just has that line, and it sounds like Rooker, and you're just like... I remember watching this, I started to watch it the other day, and I stopped it right after I caught Rooker. I was like, that's fucking Michael Rooker. And for some reason, I stopped it, because I was trying to, like, do research on this, and I never went back for a day or two. But, yeah, that's, like, a lot of goddamn people in one episode of 1986 television. And so what I'm going to do is, if you don't know who I'm talking about, we're going to start with Bill Smitrovich. Bill Smitrovich is a great character actor who's still working today. I was trying to find something from Millennium, the X-Files, not spin-off, but like Chris Carter's second show after the X-Files, during the X-Files run, this came out. But there's like nothing I can find for Millennium, so I'm going to show you this. Please don't judge me too harshly. I found this and I had to play it because I thought it was an amazing moment of like late 80s, early 90s. Holy shit, did they just do that? So here's my little tribute to Bill Smitrovich. You'll know who I'm talking about now.
Okay, I'm ready.
Do you have any idea what he's gonna do?
All I know is it's not from Yankee Doodle Dandy. Quote, I don't do corny stuff anymore. End quote.
Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the
Certainly
power!
is different.
Fight the power! Fight the power! We've got to fight the power that beats!
So I was like, holy shit, when I found that moment, because I used to watch Life Goes On when I was a kid, and holy crap, I actually kind of want to go back and rewatch it because it was an amazing show back then. Like, it was perfect for the time that it came out. And and just to show, like, I'm just so glad that everything's worked out for, like, Corky in real life. Like, things just, like, you know, I'm not going to I don't want to dig myself a hole, but it's just, after that show and kind of forgetting about that guy, it's nice to see that I think he's still alive and kicking, and I hate being like that, but I believe he's still alive, and it's just that I'm digging a hole. I'm digging a hole. But next we're going to move up to Steve Ryan that's on this show. He only gets a little bit of screen time, but I think he has more episodes to be in because he plays Detective Nate Grossman. He's near the end of the episode when they're talking about some cop stuff. But I was trying to remember where he's from, and so he's from a little show where he played a guy named J. Walter Weatherman, I believe was his name. J. Walter Weatherman or something or whatever, but you'll know what I'm talking about. So this is where I know him from.
George Sr. had used his considerable means to stage intricate scenarios to teach his children what he considered valuable life lessons.
I need help.
I'll get my gear.
Typically, these scenarios would involve a man named J. Walter Weatherman, a one-time employee who lost his arm in a Bluth Company construction accident.
Why are you here? Remember,
We're out of milk. I could have got it earlier if someone would have left a note. Why? If someone had left a note, this innocent man would still have his arm. Why?
That's why you always leave a note.
Okay, so yeah, that's how I know that guy. He always would show up on Arrested Development to teach the kids a lesson in flashbacks where he'd always lose his arm. And maybe I'll show more of these later on in other videos if I see fit, or maybe if the character dies or something. Because there's a body count in this show. Like, people get taken out, and so far none of the people that I've mentioned aren't taken out, but like, it's a regular mob movie. Like, people get taken out. People get taken out to the edge of town. People get taken to water towers. It's fucking awesome. And again, we'll talk more about that properly after I get through the, like, introductions and everything that I feel like doing, because fuck it, we're going all out. We're being stupid. But next up we have Bill Campbell, or Billy Campbell, or William Campbell. He's one of those guys who always changes his name, like John Cougar Mellencamp. Sometimes it's just John Cougar. Sometimes it's just John Mellencamp. You know what I mean? It's like, just stick to something and, you know, go with it. But his claim to fame is a little movie that I like to call The Rocketeer. And so let's just see this in all its glory. Maybe you'll remember who Billy Campbell is. He plays with Detective Joey Indelli, who he doesn't get that much to do again, but like I said, most of this relies on Farina and Dennison's characters, but it's awesome that they have such a great supporting cast. So here we go. Whoops. Okay, so that was Jennifer Connelly riding a mechanical horse. Sorry. Let's get to the real Rocketeer. They used to go out, so I guess I was a little confused. Okay, so that's Billy Campbell. He's also was really good on the first season of The Killing, and actually I think every little bit that he was in The Killing concurrently after that. I think it was season 2 too. He was really good. But Billy Campbell's one of those guys that just never, like, I thought he was going to be huge after The Rocketeer. Like, I mean, really big. Like, I thought the roles, like, I mean, it's not a great movie, but I mean, like, roles like Brendan Fraser's role in, like, The Mummy and stuff would have gone to a guy like him. Because he's got the classic good looks. He's a good actor. But, I mean, look, I'm not going to feel that bad for him because he did date Jennifer Connelly. Okay? Never feel bad for anyone that got to date Jennifer Connelly. Ever. Paul Bettany's a very fucking lucky man. Next up we have Stephen Lang. So like I said, yeah, the guy from Avatar and Don't Breathe. He's a fucking badass. He's an intense dude. I like him a lot. But in this, I couldn't believe. Okay, so everybody else you can kind of still see as themselves. Stephen, on the other hand, holy shit. Like, I had to purposely find a clip of him from the show to put in here to show you how young he is. And then I'll show you one from how old he is now. I don't mean like, you know, how old he is, but like how different he looks in 1986. And I know the years, you know, change you, but like most of these people are pretty recognizable even years later, okay? Even years later you go, oh yeah. Stephen Lang, he's there somewhere, the one that is today. So 96, 6, 16, so it's like 33 years ago. You know, not everybody's life is the same. People change. He changed. He looks different. And you'll know what I'm talking about in just a minute.
Life in the public defender's office, huh?
I think Mr. Taglia likes it pretty well. Ain't bad by me. Kept me out of jail so far.
Yeah, well, you can't spend gratitude.
I get by.
Well, you'd make out a lot better if you left that bust out of a job you got. David, I asked you before. Why don't you come with us?
Ray, you don't need me. You're doing fine.
Hey, you think so?
Hey, thank you, Terry.
Cheers.
Retire. Huh?
You've seen him time and time again.
Welcome to Pandora, folks.
Welcoming you places.
You're not in Kansas anymore.
And reminding you...
Welcome to Terra Nova, folks.
You're not in Kansas anymore.
Guess where you ain't? Kansas. Not anymore.
All right, so that's pretty crazy, right? I mean, he looks so different. I mean, he's one of those guys that just, you know, he got noticed later in life a little bit more, but I mean, what he does in this is actually really good. And I mean, again, if you didn't know, like, you'd find out, like, oh my God, this is frickin' Stephen Lang. But next, we gotta talk about the great John Polito, who shows up in this, and hopefully, it looks like he's gonna be in more episodes, as this other mobster that's kind of, Phil Bartoli. He's kind of like the guy in charge, one of the bigger guys in this 1963 Chicago, or wherever it is. It says it's Chicago, but man, I don't know. We'll talk about that after all of this, because there is still, like, we haven't even gotten into this. I'm just being, like, real fan servicey right now, and real nerdy. So I want to talk about John Polito, because he's one of the greatest character actors that ever lived, and he was in just about every Coen Brothers movie. And right now we're going to talk about one of them, because there was so much to choose from, but I got to go with my favorite Coen Brothers movie clip. Well, a clip from my favorite Coen Brothers movie. And so this is the late great John Polito. This is after, not too soon after either. Maybe a few years, maybe like 4 years after this came out.
I'm talking about Frank. I'm talking about character. I'm talking about... Hell, Leo, I ain't embarrassed to use the word. I'm talking about ethics. You know I'm a sporting man. I like to lay the occasional bet, but I ain't that sporting. When I fix a fight, say I pay a 3-to-1 favorite to throw a goddamn fight, I figure I got the right to expect that fight to go off at 3-1. But every time I lay a bet with this son of a bitch, Bernie Birnbaum, before I know it, the odds is even up. Or worse, I'm betting on the short money. The Sheeny knows I like short things. He's selling the information. I fixed the fight. Out-of-town money comes pouring in. The odds go straight to hell. I don't know who he's selling to. Maybe the Los Angeles Combine. I don't know. The point is, Bernie ain't satisfied with the honest dollar he can make off the Vic. He ain't satisfied with the business I do on his book. He is selling tips on how I bet. And that means part of the payoff that should be riding on my hip is riding on someone else's. So, back we go to these questions. Friendship, character, ethics. So it's clear what I'm saying.
As mud.
It's getting so a businessman can't expect no return from a fixed fight. Now, if you can't trust a fix, what can you trust?
Okay, so John Polito, like, again, yeah, and if you didn't like him there, like, if you want more of him, like in The Crow, oh my God, as the pawn shop owner, shit on me, you're nothing but street grease, you hear? It's so great. But then you also have guys like William Russ, who in this is Detective Wes Connolly. William Russ is mostly probably famous for being the dad on Boy Meets World. But then he was also another dad. And let's meet him.
Well, they don't.
So what is it? What is this native son? What is it?
Nothing. It's like this book about this black guy. You know, we're doing this whole black literature. You know.
What is it? Black History Month?
No, it's just like this guy Sweeney. You know, it's part of the course now.
Yeah.
What?
Nothing. It's just, you know, it's everywhere I look now.
What?
This affirmative blaction.
Honey, a few new books doesn't qualify as affirmative black action.
Hey, read the book, ace the guy's test. Just don't swallow everything he feeds you whole. You know, just because you see it on the evening news.
No, but like what?
All this stuff about making everything equal, it's not that simple. Look, now you got this book, Native Son. You know, what happened to the other books in the course? They're not any good anymore because Mr. 2 PhD says they aren't? Huh? I mean, you gotta trade in great books for black books? Does that make sense? Huh? You gotta question these things, Dare. You gotta look at the whole picture. You know, we're talking about books here, but I'm also talking about my job. I got 2 black guys on my squad now who got their job over a couple of white guys who actually scored higher in the test. Does that make sense? Huh? Yeah, sure, everything's equal now, but I got 2 guys watching my back, responsible for my life, who aren't as good as 2 other guys. You only got the job because they were...
Yeah, so that's like the mark of a really good actor who can go from like being like, you know, a Chicago hard mafia cop in 1986 to being like such a nice guy, daddy, you know, like one of the great TV dads of, you know, the 90s generation of kids anyway, you know, for Boy Meets World. And then to turn around and be an American History X and give a performance like that, which is very opposite of anything he's ever done. And it's scary. Like, he's scary good in that few scenes that he gets in American History X, man. He really, man, sells the shit on that. And last but not least, I was going to do Martin Ferrero and just show the dinosaur eating him, but if you don't know that scene, then... But we got to stop with David Caruso. So David Caruso was one of these guys that was really on the cusp of being great. And he's one of those guys that I don't know, like, I don't know what all the ins and outs were, but at the time, it seemed like ego that kind of blew his career up. But back then, in '86, he was playing this guy in this one episode named Johnny O'Donnell, and he was like, guy pretending that he was on the up and up, but he was really a pretty hard-ass, like, criminal. He was breaking into places, shooting people, he was pretty intense, and he was really good in this. And after this, he was in King of New York with Abel Ferrara again. And then he went on NYPD Blue, and then, you know, he was in that movie, I think, what was it, Jade or something like that, or Kiss, and then with that Nicolas Cage movie where Nicolas Cage got all steroided out, and I think that was, ooh, man, why can't I remember that name? That one's going to bug me. I want to say The Long Kiss Goodnight, but I think that's a Gina Davis movie. But it was, I don't know, I can't remember what it was, but his career just like went. But then again, some bitch comes back for years because of this. And this is where most everybody else knows him from. And I've never watched a single full episode, but the more that I was looking this up, I kind of want to just watch like the beginnings of every single one of these episodes of this show. So here we go. This is David Caruso, everyone.
Drink mojitos and catch some sun. Well, it looks like something caught her.
All right, so with that, that's all the players. And I know I've been really self-indulgent, but honestly, I could care less because I just wanted to have some fun. And this is how I'm doing it. This is how I'm relaxing. This is how I'm getting back to try to do things. And like I said, as I'm making this, I made one video this week, and I wasn't even sure I was going to do that one. But this one, I think I'm going to hold off on to until I'm ready to make my full comeback, which by the time you see this would be kind of a fucking stupid statement to be making. But right now it's July 12th. And I don't know. I think I'll put this up sometime next week because I might want to make some changes to it. So, yeah, but you won't even know because I'll have done some time travel editing shit. But anyway, now to really talk about this story proper. So we've gotten over this. And we didn't even get to talk about this guy. This guy right here, okay? He's on the show, but he's like missing in fucking action. And dude's like firing shotguns in like public places and stuff. He's a fucking crazy badass. Paul Butler, yeah, he's like a complete blank. He's all up in this, man. He looks like that's chomping on a stogie with a big-ass shotgun, blowing shit up. It's fucking wild. So let's talk about that. So, like, the violence in this is pretty intense. It's, like, a lot of, like, bloodless stuff. But, like, there's a scene where they're chasing a car down the highway. And Dennis Farina has them pull up, and he shoots the driver in the head. Okay? Now, you don't see it. You see him shoot the gun. You see it hit the glass, but you don't see the blood or anything like that. But all of a sudden, the car starts to move, and you see, like, from the front side, the car, like, the passenger trying to drive the car, and you see this guy's head, like, going like this, like, in the back. So you didn't see the actual guy's head get blown off. But still, the peril was there. It's all, like, they still kept it in. They didn't cheapen out on it. Speaking of cheap, though. So this is made in 86, but it looks like it's filmed in the 70s, trying to look like it takes place in the 60s, where it actually kind of, the sets and everything, a lot of them look like they were taken from really bad movies. Like, a lot of these sets are really bad. Like, really, really bad. I don't know if it makes them more real, but I mean, they look like better. The quality of the film is better than what was used in the movies back then in a lot of really shitty movies. But if you've watched enough Mystery Science Theater 3000 like I have, there's a lot of those really bad movies had just really shitty sets, and it didn't help their cause. And this is kind of the same way. Sometimes the sets are great, but like when they're in like a lot of like closed in places, it looks really cheap. Another thing that is weird is they didn't seem to really try to hide the fact that it was filmed in 86, even though it's set in 63. It's just that a lot of the interiors for, like, especially there's some scenes in stores and stuff, they just did not look like really that accurate. But again, I'm not going to pick that shit out of Pepper, but it did kind of take me out of it because it's like they've got the old cars, but everything's kind of modern. And again, it was a little sloppy. And speaking of sloppy, some of the extra work and stuff in this is pretty bad. Like, some of them are like laughing as like they're getting robbed and things. So like it was the 80s, right? They were all coked up. They were probably just like sit around the table and we'll just we won't pay you. We'll just coke you up some more. But but some of it, yeah, it just some of this production quality is not that great. But what makes up for that is the acting, the story, the characters. Like some of the writing is pretty, pretty heavy-handed, old cliche mobster cop talk. Other shit though is pretty goddamn good. Why was I saying gosh damn? Fucking goddamn good. And it gives you that really strong and intense, like, oh, I'm gonna take you down to Chinatown type of thing, okay? Like a lot of really powerful lines, a lot of puffing up of chests, but it's just done in such an entertaining way. And at the crux of this is this building crime wave again that's happening in this area. And nobody knows that this guy Ray Luca is the one behind it. They can't figure it out. He's really quietly behind the scenes, but as the episode gets on, or as the movie gets on, he becomes to have a bigger role, and then that makes them want to find him, and because of what he does in this episode, it's the beginning of this animosity with these two guys that are really... Both of them are pretty much willing to do anything it takes to stop the other one from either catching or stopping the other one. And so you get like little beats like with Mike Torello's character where he seems like kind of a shitty guy. You see him with this like girl. He's like doing that very sexist talk, like, hey, like you're coming home with me, and you're like, oh God. But what's nice is you find out that it's his wife, and that they just met at the bar, and he was acting like he was picking her up, and it's just kind of their thing, which was really nice. It's also nice to see, but what's interesting is that his relationship with his wife is more volatile than Luca's is with his wife, which seems much more peaceful, much more less violent. Except, Luca is a murderer. And it seems like Torello, though, is the one that's like way quicker to anger and jealousy. The only time Luca gets upset, really, in this whole thing, like, is when he had to kill somebody that he didn't want to kill. And he kind of snaps at his wife because he's just murdered somebody that was, like, his friend. So it's a very complex way of doing it on a 1986 television show. So speaking of like why is he feeling bad and why did he have to kill some of these people? Well, he starts running with David Caruso's Johnny O'Donnell, and they start running scams together, and some pretty successful ones at that. They really do. The thing that where they robbed the National History Museum is pretty fucking hilarious though, because it's like some of these sets there's like no one there, it just doesn't ever seem sometimes like they're actually where they say they're looking at and stuff. But they do the best they can. But it's still kind of a well-done heist. Ted Levine is there to help out because he's like the blowtorch or the demolitions guy. Dang, man, I should have done a Ted Levine thing if I was going to do anything, but he's not even written in here. But he's like their demolitions guy, and they steal these jewels, right? And they're going to try to sell them to John Polito. John Polito, though, he's like the man in charge, and these guys are independents, just running their own thing, not really paying attention to whose territory and things like that, so they don't understand about taxes and how you do things. And O'Donnell, played by Caruso, is much more of the hot-headed, I want all my fucking money, asshole, blah, 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 while Luca is more of the businessman, smart side of it. Hey, we got to try to, we're new to this. We can't just be pushing people around. This is how you get killed, So you can kind of see where the story's going, where he's the smart one building up while the other guys are starting to already show that they're just, dime store thugs. And he's able to get like a bigger chunk of money for them than they were going to even get because of being smarter at it. Now, I'm not saying that he's a great character, like he's a good guy or anything, but I mean, he's smart. He's not your typical just wise guy. He is cool under pressure, like I said, when they go after him later on, and he just is like, you gonna kill me or what? Like, come on. Or get out of my face. I love that. And, I don't think, Farina takes center stage mostly when you talk about this show, but who doesn't get talked about enough is Tony Dennison as Ray Luca. He's fantastic in this. And watching these two guys spar at each other throughout this really made me go, okay, I will be finishing this series again. I will like make one last push through this show that I haven't seen in 30 years, just because of those two performances. Now throughout the rest of this, they keep almost getting, you know, like they're one step behind the crooks. They take out a couple of guys of his, and then in the investigation, the guy who's William Russ, who's Detective Wes Connolly, who's the guy from Boy Meets World and stuff, he follows and finds out that O'Donnell is a criminal and that he is working with Luca, and he goes to follow him, and it's really interesting scene of them following each other and Luca like kind of losing him, and the cop going to the payphone to like call for backup and see what's going on, and not knowing that Luca doubled back, wasn't interested in just getting away, and comes up to to Russ's character right behind him and blows him away in the phone booth, which is a pretty powerful scene, and even more powerful when Farina finds out what happened. And it's kind of like he feels responsible. And they start playing Stand By Me, and it's raining. I mean, really raining, like hard. And he goes to the phone booth and you still see the bullet hole that killed his friend. And even though there's no blood there, which would have made things look kind of like cooler and more authentic looking. Because, I mean, come on. He shot him through there and there's no blood. But he just, like, the way he just kind of busts up the phone booth and everything in a rage of sadness, and then sits there in the rain just crying that his friend was killed, you know, and that nobody was there to stop him, and he just, one second he was there and the next he was gone. It just keeps building the rage inside Torello to get him. We also, like, Stephen Lang's attorney, the defense attorney, starts to become more of a character. Where is he going to be? You know, he's claiming to be like, I just have to defend these guys. Like, it's my job. It's who I am. But it really starts to show in this that he's probably kind of going to be one of those guys on the take. More like interested in the criminal side. Kind of a Saul Goodman-esque character before there were Saul Goodman-esque characters. So he's got some interesting stuff going on too, because, you know, the cops of course want to like, hey man, why don't you help us out? And they're like, I can't. It's not my job to do that. What else do we have here? So as it keeps going on and the cops and robbers thing gets more intense and more intense, there's this like job that's coming up that they want to do. But first, in order to do it, Polito's Bartoli, wow, I remembered it. Bartoli tells Luca that, look, I'll do this job. We'll do this job. We'll get this money. But here's something else that's been going on, and that some guys have been ripping off my shit, and one of them is your boy O'Donnell. And so now, because you know, Luca wants to move up and doesn't want to be stopped, and you know he likes his friend Ray, or O'Donnell, but takes him out. I love it. He gets him, he does that usual thing of, hey, let me drive. Oh, okay. Switches seats, blows him away. But he doesn't kill him. And I thought that was cool that they had him in the hospital the next day, where he's got the like breathing and he does the deathbed confessional type of thing. Uh-oh, what happened here? Uh-oh, everything's going wrong. Okay, I'm really sorry about that. The PlayStation went into rest mode because I'd been talking and fiddling around so long. And hey, look, I found a new wallpaper. So, anyway, he has his like deathbed scene where he gets to like confess that it was Luca that did all the killings and shot him. And so the cops are onto him. There is a job. They find out about the job because Farina's Torello just beats the ever-living crap out of one of the Luca's guys that's supposed to be going on this job. Now, Torello wants Luca, but Paulie, this guy who's getting tore up from the floor up, he can't give him that, so he gives him the job. And so now the cops know when and where they're going to be to rob an armored car that's going to go into a place, drop off the money, and they're going to be waiting inside. It's also really awesome how they go through talking about the job, because they're in the shopping place, right? And he walks up to the count room where the guys are going to be going. These people that are behind the doors, the cashiers, don't know that what's going on, because Torello just puts his fingers up to the guy's head and they're describing what's going to go down to this, while this poor guy thinks he's being robbed or something strange is going on. It's really a weird, awkward scene. Speaking of awkward, there is another awkward scene where after the cop is killed, after Russ's cop character is killed, and Torello goes to a wedding that he's late for, where he sees his wife, like he thinks she's making out with some guy. It turns out to be one of his younger cousins, which makes him really look like an asshole later. But he goes to the bar to drink with his buddies, and he sees this really like kind of thick, big-haired older lady that he like starts dancing, and like it's really weird. It's really weird and very awkward. But anyway, so they know, going back to where we are now, that poor guy didn't know what was happening in that scene. They just walk away, and the guy's standing there, and they're both like, were we just robbed, but not robbed? So they know that they're going to be in the vault, and that Luca's got to be at the vault before the guards get there so that they can just quickly get in, and that everybody wants to kill Luca at this point. But Torello says, I'm going to be the one in the vault. If he comes out and not me, you can blow him away. So either way, they plan on just killing him. There is not, oh, we're going to bring this guy in. He goes into the vault, he gets shot by Torello. If he comes out of the vault and had killed Torello, he gets shot. So either way, the cops aren't taking prisoners. This is 86 television, by the way, guys, again. So they got everything set up. Everybody starts showing up. All the cops are coordinated. All the criminals are getting coordinated. But then the money shows up early. And like a smart criminal, Luca walks away. Not this like forced, crazed criminal. He's smart. And he sees that we can't do this. We don't want to get caught. We're leaving. Now, of course, how do you solve this situation? Because then, you know, we can't, if he's going to get away, he has to know that the cops were there, right? Because then they can't do this thing the same time. Otherwise, why not just have this all go the way it's supposed to go as planned? So in order to do that, one of Luca's, you know, cronies that's in on the job decides to take one of the bags of money on his own. And then the whole thing turns into a bullet festival where cops are firing while civilians are there. Like all over the place. Shotguns are going off. People are running and scrambling. People, the crooks and the cops, they're all firing. Did they have escalators in 1963? I don't know. But that was another thing that threw me off, was that the escalators in there was like, wait a minute. When did... I don't know. Probably. Escalators have probably been around for a long time. They have been around for a long time, but longer than I thought, anyway. So people, I can't believe that nobody got shot. But Luca's gone. They've taken out some of his guys. And this is basically at the point when they go after him because he's done all this other stuff and he gets away, and they go and they intimidate him. And that's the first thing that I played you, was that scene at the end where they've had enough. He's been put on notice, but he's not backing down. Nobody's backing down. It's about to get like real up in this bitch. And I can't wait to see what I can't, you know, like all the episodes that I haven't seen in like 30 years. And so this is the biggest one, and that's why I'm making a huge deal out of it. Also because, like I said, this is a labor of love. This is a passion project. This is something I never thought I'd get to do, which is talk about crime story and actually watch it and not just try to piece it together through memories. It is as good as I remembered it. It is dated though. And like I said, back then you could get away with a lot more but this was still ahead of its time. And so I'm really excited to go on this journey. I hope that some of this at least gets you interested in some of the stuff that I talked about, some of the people. Maybe you want to watch CSI Miami now. I don't know. Hopefully, though, it was entertaining at the very least, because this is what I mean when I say this is the kind of thing I want to do. And so whenever this gets posted, I don't care how many views it gets, because if you like Crime Story, you'll find it somehow, and maybe someday you'll give me a like and a subscribe. And with that, we're done with this review. We will be back with more of them as I feel like it. I'm not going to kill myself getting them all out there. Life's not that short, but who knows. But otherwise, if you did like this video, please hit that like button. Comment, share the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. That would be fantastic. Otherwise, this is Rob at Smirking Gun Reviews saying have a great night, and we will see you on the next video, whatever that will be. Bye.
You're a sweet little headache, but you are lots of fun. I've a good mind to spank you, then
Whose is it?
quaint little scheme.